Hello, Jay here. Today we're going to talk about my arrangement for Señorita by Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello. Okay, this is a really fun tune. It's kind of got a bossa nova beat on it, and I definitely play a lot of that style, so it lends itself really nicely for the instrumental vibe. Okay, what I'm going to do is just go ahead and play the whole arrangement, and then I'll get to the tutorial right after. So here is Señorita. Okay, for my arrangement, I recommend a couple different steps. First of all is listen to the original recording and then get your chords going. Check out my arrangement, see if you can learn it note for note. Then you're going to want to start to mess around with your bass notes. For this arrangement, along with my other arrangements, I'm just keeping a very simple quarter note in the bass, but that could be definitely changed. You can make them short notes, you can make them longer notes. You can also change your bass line to approach your different chords, to descend or ascend. So remember, the bass is a starting point, and you can keep it this way. It'll still sound really fine. It's a good way to also get your counterpoint with your thumb and your other fingers. But what I do recommend is eventually you can totally change your bass lines around and see what you like the best. Next, you can add some notes to your chords and your melodies. If you want to stack some notes underneath your melody, you can start to fill out some sounds too. It's really fun, sounds great. So if you want to add double stops, triple stops, more notes to your chords, even full 6-note chords or 5-note chords, you could definitely go for it, and you'll kind of supersize your melodies a little bit too. But you're going to see my arrangement sometimes is super minimal, even just a bass note and a melody note. Okay, now also I recommend rhythmically to have some fun with it. You can change your rhythms, you can improvise with your rhythms, but rhythmically I always like to challenge myself a little bit and mess around a little bit with the tune. Okay, now this arrangement's gonna be for solo guitar fingerstyle, and really quick, let's talk about some fingerstyle. I'm gonna be using the thumb and claw technique, so that's when we use our thumb for the low notes, your low 3 strings, and then the index, middle, and ring work as a claw, and they can target the 3 high strings, or they can also target the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string, and they can move around like that. The claw can be used for hitting a chord at the same time or for separate notes too. Okay, now you can also play with a pick if you'd like, or you could try some different fingerstyle techniques. Thumb and just an index finger works really good too, or just using 2 fingers. So check out some different techniques and see what you like the best. Okay, I want to talk about the feel for this song. It's kind of got a Latin bossa nova feel on it, so it lends itself really nicely for doing fingerstyle guitar. For the tempo of the song, I have it at a quarter note at 59, so a little bit slower beat. With a slower beat, it's going to lend itself to those quarter notes sounding like this. If you want to double time up on your bass notes and think more 8th notes, that'll sound really good too. That would kind of be like a... But I was leaning more towards the slower beat, like... So what I ultimately recommend is incorporate a little bit of both of those. It's fun to give it a little bit of lift. You're not going faster, but you're just adding some of that more of a double time feel to it. I also have a Torso Jams version of this song and a live version, so I recommend check out the links below, and you can see how I jazz it up a bit when I play these live too, and it definitely lends itself towards doing some different variations and having fun with it. Okay, the chords we're going to be needing for this tune, there's just 4 of them. It's going to be an A minor, a C, F, and an E minor. Okay, let's go ahead and put out some chords in open position. For your open A minor, got the open 5th string, middle fingers on the 2nd fret 4th string, ring fingers on the 2nd fret 3rd string, index is on the 1st fret 2nd string, and then open 1st string. You can also have your low E string in there if you like to. You can also have your thumb over the top to mute that low 6th string or just avoid it. For your C major, gonna have ring finger on the 3rd fret 5th string, middle fingers on the 2nd fret 4th string, open 3rd string, index is on the 1st fret 2nd string, and then open 1st string. You can make contact with your ring finger on the low 6th string to mute it, or have your thumb over the top to mute it. For your F major, let's just go ahead and put out a bar chord. Gonna have index finger on the 1st fret 6th string, ring fingers on the 3rd fret 5th string, pinkies on the 3rd fret 4th string, middle fingers on the 2nd fret 3rd string, and then barring to get the 1st frets on the first 2 strings. And then for your open E minor, got the open 6th string, middle fingers on the 2nd fret 5th string, ring fingers on the 2nd fret 4th string, and then your open first 3 strings. Okay, now just to get some other positions going here, let's go ahead and put out some more bar chords. For an A minor bar chord, you go 5th fret on your 6th string with your index, ring fingers on the 7th fret 5th string, pinkies on the 7th fret 4th string, and then barring to get the 5th frets on the first 3 strings with all index. Also good to have your C major bar chord in your 8th position. It's the same chord we did for our F major, but now we're off the 8th fret. So got index finger on the 8th fret 6th string, ring fingers on the 10th fret 5th string, pinkies on the 10th fret 4th string, middle fingers on the 9th fret 3rd string, and then barring to get your 8th frets on the first 2 strings. For an F major bar chord, off the A string, gonna go index finger, 8th fret 5th string, and then barring to get the 10th frets on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string with ring finger. Just arch out of that ring finger to mute your 1st string, and then make some contact with your index to mute the low 6th string. And then for an E minor bar chord, you can have your open 6th string, 7th fret on the 5th string with your index, ring fingers on the 9th fret 4th string, pinkies on the 9th fret 3rd string, middle fingers on the 8th fret 2nd string, and then barring to get your 7th fret on the 1st string with your index. Okay, now as we go through the tune, sometimes I also recommend you could jazz up your voicings a little bit. If you want to do an A minor 7, if you want to do C major 7, F major 7. You could have a sharp 11 on your major 7 chord for F2. It sounds really good. That would be having the note B in there. And for your E minor, you can also make that into an E minor 7. So as you start to explore some of this fingerstyle, I also recommend definitely learn some of the harmony and learn how you can embellish your chords and add to them and give yourself something to play with. Okay, let's talk about the form. It's going to start off with the 4-bar intro, which is pretty much like the chorus, and then we're going to go into a chorus for another 4 bars. We'll go into the first verse, that's going to be 8 bars. We'll go into a second chorus after that, that's going to be 8 bars. Then I'm going to put in a solo section. Solo section is just jamming. It's the same chord progression throughout the whole tune. So just think of it like you're playing over a verse or a chorus. And I'm just gonna do a 8-bar solo, but when I do play this live, sometimes I'll stretch it into, it could be 12 bars, 16 bars, whatever I'm feeling at that time. But definitely a fun one to play on since it's all in A minor. So it could lend itself to longer solos if you like to. You also don't need to take a solo. You can just go back and repeat another verse if you like to. But I do recommend checking into some solos. It's a fun way to challenge yourself and it becomes really rewarding over time. Okay, after the solo section, we're going to go into a last verse for 8 bars, and then we'll take it to a last chorus for 8 bars, and then we're just going to end on an A minor. And I want to point out there's a lot of 16th notes because I have a slower beat. Now, if I were to have counted this with a faster beat like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, that would have been more 8th note kind of vibe. So with my beat going like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's going to basically lend itself to more 16th notes. So some of these rhythms look a little tricky on paper, but if you just hear it out, it'll sound a little more normal. Okay, here's the intro slow. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now here's the intro a little faster. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I want to point out a couple ways we can add to our chords for that first melody. Instead of just hitting my 8th fret on the 1st string, I can also stack a couple notes underneath my A minor chord. I've got my index barring on the 5th fret on the 2nd and 3rd string. So if you want to add a little more substance to your chords, that's a good way to do it. Now when I go to my C major bar chord, I can also sort of arpeggiate and get in a little bit more of that C major chord up high. And also for my F major chord, if I want to add, let's say the 3rd of my F chord, if I want to get my pinky in on the 10th fret on the 2nd string to add that note A, you can also supersize your chord a little bit that way. When it goes to E minor, I can actually keep my middle finger on the 8th fret on the 2nd string. If I want to add a little double stop to that melody too. So again, just adding a note or two underneath your melodies will thicken out that sound a little bit, and you can incorporate those in usually any parts of the tune depending on which part of the neck you're at. So look into adding some notes to your chords. Okay, let's take a look at the first verse. I'm going to play it slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that'll lead us to the next chorus. I'm going to go ahead and play the verse at tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to play the chorus slow, and I'm going to add that pickup note. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to play the chorus at tempo. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the song is going to be in the key of A minor, so let's go ahead and throw out an A minor scale. Okay, A minor relates with C major, so all the notes are natural, and our notes are going to be in A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then back to A. Okay, now I'm going to give you an open position A minor scale. We're going to start off open 1, 3 on the 6th string, open 2, 3 on your 5th string, open 2, 3 on the 4th string, open 2 on the 3rd string, open 1, 3 on your 2nd string, and then we can go open 1, 3, 5 on your 1st string, and that'll take us to our 2nd octave A right there. It's also good to know your A minor scale all over the neck, so let's throw out one more position. I'm going to do the 5th position, so we'll start off 5, 7, 8 on your 6th string, 5, 7, 8 on the 5th string, 5, 7 on the 4th string, 4, 5, 7, 3rd string, 5, 6, 8 on your 2nd string, and then 5, 7, 8 on your 1st string. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take an 8-bar solo. We'll see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now the fun part about solos is it might be the best, it might not be the best, but the fun part is to challenge yourself and see what happens. Do love playing in this key too, because I could take advantage of some of my open A string. So see what happens. If you want to stretch that out, again, feel free. You could change it into double that length, or just add another 4 bars, or whatever you're feeling. Okay, this takes us to the last verse. I've already played it slow, so I'm just going to go ahead and play it at tempo. And I'm also going to add some hammer-ons, some pull-offs, put a little bit of life with some articulations into it, is something that I recommend too. 1, 2, 3, 4. also take us to our last chorus. For the last chorus, it's going to be the same thing we did. So I'm going to just play it at tempo, and I'm going to stack some notes underneath some of these melodies just to put in some little fuller chords. 1, 2, 3. Okay, for the last chord, I'm just doing an A minor with my open A string and just barring to get my 5th frets on the 3 high strings. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have fun with Señorita. Please stay tuned. I'll be doing more of these tutorials as we go. I've also already got some up on my YouTube page, so please stay posted, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.